subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone, taking you new places. Today on Lady Mary Bath, we are shopping August Antiques, located on Heights Boulevard in historic Houston Heights. We will discover New England-sourced antiques, glass, pottery, architectural elements, and more. Join me. August Antiques is truly a hidden gem in the Houston Heights. A nod to our Houston area history with Humble Oil, founded in 1911 in nearby Humble, Texas, now part of Exxon Mobil, which is also headquartered in the Houston area. We've got some fun things on the porch and lots more for us to discover inside. Welcome to August Antiques. This antique store in the Houston Heights is a true delight. It is housed in a 1920s red brick building in the historic Houston Heights, which was Texas's earliest planned community. We're going to discover some Art Deco lighting, rare books, architectural elements, and some beautiful glass. Let's go inside and have a look. Let's go on inside and discover some lighting ware. I'm impressed with a lot of their period pieces, and you'll also notice there are some quantities, and I'll tell you more about how that came about. Many of these are sourced from the East Coast, which adds some interest, and this is a style you might recognize. Love that opalescent. They have some nice chandeliers as well. These are $795 each. Look up for lighting ware. Here we have a great example of Art Deco lighting from a bank in Rhode Island. You will see the original nickel-plated hardware. These are made in the Skyscraper style, with the stepped sides and angled bottoms that help to disperse the light. Hollywood should definitely shop here for their set. And I wonder if bank customers in the 1930s appreciated the fine lighting ware. Certainly not something that you would see today. Lots of detail in this Art Deco design, and if you look at the stencil pattern, you might even think that it resembles a woman's silhouette. I saw lots of folks shopping here today who were renovating their homes, and quite a few hold and sold signs on these fixtures. This one is extra special. Also from the 1930s. August Antiques is a great source for vintage and antique lighting ware. You certainly can't find something of this craftsmanship and quality when you shop a box store, and you have an incredible variety, many of these sourced from the East Coast. I find that reproduction lighting ware is a lot more expensive than the authentic if you just know where to shop. This one I find intriguing with that combination of brass and glass. This opalescent fixture is on hold for a customer. It exemplifies the 1930s Art Deco era in that beautiful opalescent, and the pattern is often referred to as cracked ice. This mantle would be a nice addition to any space. And hurricane lamps, they are still highly collectible and practical, especially living in the Houston area on the Gulf Coast. We do have hurricanes and lose power. Typewriters, some of which are portable. A lot of folks like those just to add interest to a space. We have an old German radio at our home that I've showcased, and even though we don't have it in working order, still something interesting. And this has a bit of Houston history as well. I'll tell you all about El Toro. Houston history here with a roller roper from Gilley's, the famous club in Pasadena near Houston. If you've seen Urban Cowboy, then this will make a lot of sense to you. A nice space here with those leather chairs, another mantle, a kitchen clock, and some pottery. And now we're going to head to the back of the store so I can show you some more treasures. There's a lot to see, and things do sell quickly, so you want to pop in often. This glass plate has my attention. It looks like something quite familiar that I've seen at the Houston Glass Show. And it's got a celebration possibility here. And I'll tell you more about it. You'll notice those holes around the edge. There is a purpose for this, for happy occasions. What a sweet surprise to find this Imperial Glass Company candle ring plate in the Cape Cod pattern. It's been on my wish list for years. They also made it in the candle wick pattern. And here you have 72 holes for candles. Place your cake in the center. And this will be fantastic for birthday celebrations. Well priced at $21, goes for well over $100 on this secondary market. They have a collection of vintage toys and fabulous glass, including some ruby showstoppers. This oval footed vase is quite special. I'll share some history with you. It has the original sticker, Bohemian crystal, made in the Czech Republic, which dates it as far back as 1993 when the Czech Republic came into being. This ruby cut to clear has a dual design priced at $145, and I think that it might be from Nachtmann in Germany. A true ruby beauty. You may wonder, what is Bohemian glass? Has a centuries-long history, produced in Böhmen and Schlesien, which would be Bohemia and Silesia, today modern-day Poland and the Czech Republic and parts of Germany. I will tell you more about this technique and why they are known for the true beauty and craftsmanship. The man who started it all is Friedrich Egermann. He was born in 1777 in North Bohemia. He apprenticed in Meissen, which was, of course, at that time, one of the porcelain centers of Europe. He learned the processes and painting techniques of porcelain. And when he returned home to Bohemia, he applied that to glass. And we have some beautiful examples of this today, and the company is still in production. His most well-known technique, dating to 1832, is the red staining process, where a deep ruby red on the surface of each piece is decorated with Baroque patterns using cutting and engraving processes. Egermann is the world's leading manufacturer of this red coloring technique. A lovely crystal cake stand, and some great examples of EAPG, early American pattern glass, made from 1850 to about 1914. This is a wonderful cake pedestal, priced at $46. Be a nice start to your collection. And this one, I just adore. What a lovely pattern carried throughout. It's priced at $48. And now we are in the kitchen area of the store, looking at the all-essential bowl. And you will notice a common thread. You'll see shades from a buff to yellow, and there is a reason for that with a key ingredient of this highly fired earthenware. It features an alkaline glaze and a wonderful addition to a primitive or farmhouse look. You could just fill that with apples. This sweet and petite bowl is $16. I like that brown band. Yellowware is earthenware that gets its name from the yellow clay that is used in its production. We first saw this in the 18th century with British potters. It gained popularity in the 1990s when Martha Stewart shared her vast collection. and that created a market for reproduction pieces. This is authentic, well priced at $62. The kitchen is full of practical items, including utensils and a vast collection of some special covered dishes. You'll notice some are EAPG. There's a certain era represented here because of the original intended use. And of course, you could find other ways to incorporate this into your everyday. This one is priced at $38. The gold, that's an interesting touch, and ruby. Even the handles are all different shapes. And this would have been a tabletop essential. These 1930s butter dishes were made to hold the traditional round-shaped butter of that time. It is certainly not like we have today with the quarter-pound sticks. It was a pound round. This could be used as simply a covered dish. You could place lemons and limes in this on a bar cart, jewelry, stow your keys, and maybe even a glass cloche. You've probably seen jars with company names printed on them. They actually were used in stores. They're highly collectible and they go for big bucks at antique shops. This is from Planters. Store display jars are collectible and practical. I have the Tom's jars that I at one time used for flour and sugar. This is a great example of one from Planters that would have been featured in a store. And I have a very interesting one to share with you with a bit of history. Another Curtis product, property of Curtis Candy Company, Chicago, Illinois. A company started by a man who said in his 1938 marketing campaign, "Candy is delicious food, eat some every day." You may not be familiar with the Curtis Candy Company out of Chicago, but then again, maybe you are. This company, launched in 1916, was founded by Otto Schneering. He chose his mother's maiden name of Curtis to launch the business with the anti-German sentiment after the Great War. His first creation was called Candy Cake, which he quickly renamed to Baby Ruth. And in 1926, he launched his second confectionery that was a chocolate-covered peanut crunch, the Butterfinger. And that is some sweet history with a store display jar. He was known as the Candy Bar King. In 1964, his company sold to Standard Brands, later merged with Nabisco, and eventually sold to Nestle. If you are a Yale grad, we have a wonderful collection to share with you in transferware. And the classic blue and white with a floral edge. If you've ever priced these on eBay, when you look up colleges, they do go for a lot, especially Texas A&M University. Beautiful back stamp of the old library. I've seen these for Texas Christian University in a lilac. Wedgwood made lots of these. Wedgwood made collegiate plates for many colleges and universities throughout the world. And they made a set of 12 plates in 1931 depicting 12 different buildings on the Yale campus. These are the original, dating back to 1931, beautiful back stamp, and these go for about $1,500 and up for the complete collection of 12. Here we have 6, very well priced at $24 each. A stand-alone EAPG cake stand that definitely is full of history. This pattern is something that I don't find too often. Lots of folks are looking for thistle, and it's well priced at $32. I adore cake stands, and this is a great example of EAPG, early American pattern glass, in the paneled thistle pattern. This was made from 1900 to 1915 by the Higbee Glass Co out of Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. When they closed in 1918, they sold their molds to the Jefferson Glass Company of Toronto, Ontario. This was later known as Canadian thistle. They have quite a few TV lamps. You may remember this from Cherry Street Antiques in Tomball. We talked about the history with Texans Incorporated, and their chief designer was Howard Cron, had a 30-year career in Bangs, Texas. These look like they could also be Egermann. Beautiful ruby goblets. And a flower frog that is made of carnival glass. Religious artifacts from closed churches find an afterlife here with new collectors. Many of these have come from churches in Worcester, Massachusetts that are closing and consolidating. When churches close or consolidate, that leaves excess inventory. And if they don't store it within the diocese, then they will offer it to dealers. And there is certainly a market for it. And there's just a vast collection, 2 rooms full. I see this in Europe as well. And they also have some tramp art crosses. There's quite a variety. I wish they had the information about the origin of some of these pieces. And quite a few are sold. And this piece could be repurposed. You could create a seasonal look with it. That's on hold. A perfect pair of angels, priced at $3,995, and they are sold. Here's a baptismal font, which I must say I have not seen before outside of a church. And hopefully some area Houston churches would acquire this to incorporate into their service. This reminds me of some of the cathedrals in France where you put your coins in the box and light a candle. There's some tramp art crosses. And there are quite a few customers shopping for religious art today. And here's something fabulous. Delighted to find a chalice. Has quite a nice weight to it. A cut crystal chalice from a New England church, well priced at $42. This is something that is hard to find on the secondary market. Waterford Crystal made one. I'm thinking this could be Tipperary crystal. It is a fantastic piece. I'm taking this home for my friend Victor, who has a lovely chalice collection. This gold chalice was apparently gifted to a parish from Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Kennedy in honor of their golden wedding anniversary, April 23rd, 1957. It is available for $385. The Madonna, also highly collectible in that satin glass. I have a friend that has quite an extensive collection from all over the world. I spot a hidden room with medical oddities. Let's go have a look. Davis Drugs, established in 1891, and that is authentic. They do travel throughout the Midwest as well. And when pharmacies close or are sold, they have excess inventory. And again, there's a market for everything. This pharmaceutical collection was sourced mostly from the East Coast and some Midwest pharmacies that were mom and pop and sold out to the bigger chains. And with Houston having the world-renowned Texas Medical Center, they have a built-in customer base. Lots of different medical implements, books. They even had one from the 1700s with human anatomy. Medical students also like to come shop this area to see how far they have come with technology. The Country Doctor's Bag, straight out of an Agatha Christie show. And I'm always surprised at what is still out there, that this wasn't discarded and now it is collected. They were featured in the Houston Chronicle with this as well. My favorite type of book, a cookbook. These are some interesting ones dating back to the 1800s. And I bet those recipes are still good. Let's look inside. Amelia, Langdon. Fresh salmon, ham or tongue, no thanks. I'll go for the pineapple sherbet, that looks a lot better. Or the caramel ice cream. An antique cookbook entitled Just for Two, a collection of recipes designed for two persons. It is priced at $42. It is from 1903. I have a 1916 cookbook in my collection, Mary Elizabeth's Cookbook, written by Mary Elizabeth Grossman, and her aim was to make the recipes as simple as possible. From Marianne Harland, breakfast, luncheon, and tea. I love it. My friend Theodore Leaf has quite a cookbook collection. We've traded notes in a podcast I did with him early in the channel. Augusta Hazard, July 1875. It was inscribed. A rare find cookbook from 1875, breakfast, luncheon, and tea. The oldest known cookbook in America is from 1796, American Cookery, written by Amelia Simmons and published in Hartford, Connecticut. Before that, all of the cookbooks available in the colonies were printed in Britain. Here is one of many architectural elements they have in the store. You just look up and you will find something unexpected. And I like the interesting history of this piece. This wooden architectural fret was found in the T.C. Jester home, a prominent Houston family. They do think it originally was in the Cooley Mansion. This you would have placed between one room leading into the next, and you could certainly design your space around it. It's wonderful to find such a historical architectural element. Let's walk outside on this beautiful day and discover some interesting additions to a patio. The alfresco area stocks clay pots, architectural elements, concrete items, and reclaimed doors and windows. If you're wanting a curated look, this is definitely a great source. So you have something that has a bit of character and not brand new bright white concrete from your local store. And they also have some wall hangings and a sun clock with cherubs. That's an interesting piece. Statues are quite popular, whether it's poolside or on the patio. This one is $265. I like this finial style. And here we have lots of reclaimed items that can be repurposed. Windows, doors, shutters. And lots more to discover on the patio. Some with Houston history as well. They could probably tell you where these all came from. A great example of reduce and reuse when you upcycle vintage and antique doors, shutters, and windows. I've seen these made into coffee tables, bed frames, coat racks, benches, and so much more. You'd be amazed what they can make out of some of these windows. I've seen them hung in living rooms with photographs inside. You can definitely use your imagination. And clay pots. I seem to never have enough of these, especially for herbs. I've seen the shutters used as coat racks as well, applying hooks to them. Love the watering cans. These definitely are really authentic and galvanized. And there's another building we're going to discover. There was originally a gas station. And you always have to look up, much to discover. And some ice chests with a bit of history. We all rely on our ice chests. In 1953, Richard Laramie was granted a U.S. patent for a portable ice chest to store and refrigerate foods. And then the cooler was born. We've got some great examples here. Royal Crown Cola, that's RC Cola. Created by pharmacist Claude Hatcher in 1905. That little brown chest, quite authentic, priced at $180. And this icebox cooler from the 1950s has hinges and a latch. The Hires root beer box, I think, was probably brought to the beach on fishing trips. It's definitely had a good life. Priced at $295. You never know what you'll find here. And this sign is authentic from the 1950s. I'll have the shrimp basket for $1.50. And it is originally from the Houston Drug Company on Washington Avenue. It all sounds good. Screen doors. So much to discover here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have repurposed some doors and windows. It's always in season when you look up and find the blow molds. We talked about this in a recent trip to Round Top, and I'll tell you a little bit more today. And these sell very quickly. Halloween is harder to find. I actually did find one of those pumpkins in the Houston Heights, probably about 25 years ago at a thrift store. And that is my only blow mold. A popular form of lawn art is the blow mold. You see these for every season, highly collectible with the vintage pieces. And a system was developed in 1938 to make these commercially viable, but they didn't take off until a man named Don Featherstone graduated from art school and started working for Union Products. In 1957, the craze hit when he developed, you guessed it, the pink flamingo. This is a schoolhouse, which is one that I've never seen, and it goes for a lot. Here's some architectural elements and more windows. I'd love to know about the history of some of these homes these came from. That's a beautiful piece. And more blow molds. And also some replacement parts for your lighting, starting at $20 each. It's invaluable when you have broken a piece, and this is a great source for it. They also do rewiring of lamps and lighting. And of course, these are all vintage. And all shapes and sizes and colors. I like that pink. And the amber that is oh so popular. That's quite a striking look. Look at these vintage suitcases, some with a monogram. And a room divider. You never know what you'll find here at August Antiques. So glad you joined me today for August Antiques in the Houston Heights. I had such fun discovering their store full of architectural finds, lightingware, glass, pottery, and more. And I'm thrilled to take home the Imperial Glass Company Cape Cod candle ring plate. And the chalice and patent dish I will send to my friend Victor. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Bath. Elevate your everyday with antique shopping.